Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to you. Good morning to our witnesses, and good morning to those of you in attendance. I want to particularly thank Chairman Sessions for doggedly following up on this issue. He and I feel very, very strongly, as some of you know, that we just can't keep going down this street. I want to thank Mr. Khan, Mr. Mansfield. Good to see both of you again. Last September, we held the second hearing to address financial accountability in the Department of Defense. And so, as fate would have it, we are back here today to continue that conversation in light of the Department of Defense's continued inability to pass a department-wide audit. It's not new for the DoD, and I share the Chairman's commitment to holding that entire agency accountable. For years, the Department of Defense has tried, but as we know, failed to successfully complete a clean department-wide audit. A clean audit is not judging the merits of DoD spending, which we do not do in this committee, but it's asking what is that spending and how do you explain that spending and the accountability of it. DoD has failed to meet this basic standard to provide proper evidence to show that they accurately accounted for their finances. Now, let me be redundant. There have been 7, if you're listening at home or watching, 7 straight audits that have been failed by the Department of Defense. I want to be deliberately redundant about this because that number, every time I say it, continues to strike a great deal of horror at me that it happens and continues to happen. And I want to underscore that I'm not really into a lot of graphics, Mr. Chairman, but this time I want to just repeat the fact that we have had 7 audits, and you can see going back to 2018, raise it up, would you? Failed, 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 failed. That's embarrassing. It's the greatest country on the face of the earth, and we can't even get an audit completed? So I hope that if the leadership of the department is watching, that they understand how serious this is for those of us who personally are just offended that this continues to happen. And I can't stress enough my thanks to the chairman for working on this issue together. So while the Department of Defense has still not produced a clean audit, there was significant progress. Under the previous administration, that progress was spurred by Secretary Lord Austin's focus on modernizing financial systems, which helped to lead the U.S. Marine Corps to adopting a 2-year audit approach and achieving a clean audit opinion for fiscal year 2023 and 2024. God bless the United States Marines. That progress is critically important, and so I think it's up to us to determine how to get other components at DoD up to the standard that the Marine Corps is at. Chairman Sessions and I are dedicated to ensuring accountability for the hundreds of billions of dollars in spending and the $4 trillion in total assets that make up our defense budget. In fiscal year 2024, U.S. taxpayers entrusted $909 billion to the Department of Defense, one of the largest investments in our nation's history. And while we continue to provide the DoD with escalating sums of money, only 11 out of the 24 total components at DoD were able to achieve a clean audit. The components that failed, unfortunately, include the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Those 3 alone comprise 90% of DoD's assets by dollar amount. Now, standing in the way of a clean audit is the wide prevalence of material weaknesses, which we've been told over and over again. That is an accounting term for the areas in which the Department of Defense lacks internal controls over financial reporting, material weaknesses. Year after year, these material weaknesses cause the Department of Defense to be the only major federal agency unable to achieve a clean audit opinion. This, along with a number of other long-standing issues, serves as a daily reminder of DoD's history of pervasive deficiencies in financial management systems, business processes, internal controls, and financial reporting. So under these conditions, it makes the administration's goal of raising the Pentagon's budget to $1 trillion dollars, particularly puzzling, absolutely puzzling, I should say. Under the department, we have seen so many things take place, and I'm convinced that until the department can restore full faith and accountability for these critical dollars, I can't justify increasing their budget even further, especially in light of the pressing need for funds in so many other areas of overall spending where we've taken a chainsaw and cut the hell out of it. It's even harder for me to justify any increases in the Pentagon's budget in the midst of its current leadership crisis. During our last hearing on this topic, our witnesses discussed the importance of leadership from, quote, the top down. And they said that was important in creating a culture within the DoD where accountability at long last really does matter. Right now, we're seeing a distinct lack of leadership, especially in the realm of accountability. And I join the chairman in expressing the hope that either Secretary Hegseth will come before this committee and talk to us about that accountability and what's being done, or that we will find ourselves at the Pentagon trying to, again, get some real clear information about the struggles at DoD. It's our largest federal agency, as I've said, employing more than 3.4 million Americans, including 1.3 million active duty service members. And in their efforts to keep our nation safe, we must ensure our service members have the most sophisticated, modernized technology and systems to eliminate financial errors. Just like we try to provide that to win wars, we need the best sort of technology that we can provide to eliminate financial errors and to streamline data entry and obtain the most effective national security we can for the tax dollars we invest. I think it's fair to say that Congress can't allow another failed audit to go by. Don't want to be here next year talking about the 8th year in a row as we move toward this 2028 mandate. It'd be good to see just a little bit of progress on that road, and personally, I've not seen it. But I want to thank all of those who've worked on this important matter since our last hearing. I thank you over and over again for your efforts to give us direction and understanding on some of this and to provide real transparency about where, really where, all of our military spending goes. With that, Mr. Chairman, I again want to thank you, and I yield back.